Hey, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. You're listening to the longest running superhero role playing game on earth, and I'm your host, the Game Master. With me today is my wife.
Hello.
She is going to be playing the Invisible Girl from the Fantastic Four. They didn't start calling her the Invisible Woman until the 80s, I think. But
Oh,
for sure, this is the going to be set in the 1960s, and back then she was the Invisible Girl. She's still single. She's not married to Reed Richards yet either. But at any rate, before we get into all of that, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell, and as always, leave a comment because that really helps us out on our end. We've got a great community here, and it is all thanks to you. Thank you so much for being here. So let's dive in. The prologue to this one takes place in November of 1961. The alien race known as the Skrull finish a long and drawn out civil war, and the new emperor is Dorek. He orders four Skrulls to go to Earth. They do so, and when they arrive, they learn of the Fantastic Four, so the Skrulls decide to ruin their reputation. One Skrull disguises himself as the ever-loving blue-eyed thing, and he attacks an oil rig at sea. A second Skrull pretends to be Reed Richards and causes a blackout in New York City. The third Skrull uses shape-shifting to look like Johnny Storm and some high-tech alien gadgets to mimic the things that Johnny can do. He flies to the unveiling of a statue and melts it with his fire powers. And last but not least, there's a Skrull who assumes the appearance of Sue Storm, visits a jewelry store, and then steals a diamond worth $10 million.
hmm.
And that brings us to the main plot of today's game. So, Sue, what do you
Yeah.
want to be doing as the adventure begins?
I want to be finishing up making lunch as the news rolls on Ben's big adventure. I
Sure.
will bring out on a tray several plates with um oh chicken salad casserole and a side of strawberry pretzel salad, digging out the old 50s cookbook. Um
Interesting. I'm not
and
even sure what that would what it even is. It's so old. That's awesome
it
though.
it looks awful. Um, I will give Ben an extra helping of the strawberry pretzel salad. And so you did a good job out there today, Ben.
He will, in his low-pitched, gruff voice, be kind of like, "Oh, thanks, Susie," that kind of thing. I was very surprised. I reread some early Fantastic Four before running this, and Ben is in love with Sue for sure.
Aw.
Hands down, he's in love with her. Um, she doesn't seem to be into him, and interestingly enough, she has a crush on Reed. I don't think Reed really cares either
Yeah.
about her because he only cares about science. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a weird love triangle there that I was never a big Fantastic Four guy.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that stuff that other people are going to be more familiar with it than I am.
All
But
right.
I noticed that the thing. How do I want to put this? He hates himself so much,
Mm.
and then I think the counterbalance in his life is actually Sue at this point, anyways. That she's so sweet and nice and everything thing like that that I think he kind of hangs all of his hope and stuff on her.
I bet she
I
doesn't treat him any differently than she did before
No, I
the
would assume not.
mutation. So,
And the 1960s Sue Storm, by the way, is very different because like some of the Fantastic Four stuff I read was kind of like in the 80s. I don't know if that was John Byrne doing it at the time, but it was when we had Sue Storm became this like dominatrix character called Malice. and she
Okay.
had like a skimpy outfit covered in spikes, and you know what I mean? Like they're just so far apart in terms of
Wow.
tone and everything like that. But yeah, I was very surprised by early Fantastic Four, and I'm going to be reading more issues of that. But we're way off topic. I apologize.
Okay.
So, you give Ben a little extra attention, and he has this vibe like a kicked puppy,
Hmm.
you know? He likes it. He's thankful for the food. He's got a big appetite, you know. So that's great. That's great to see that interaction.
All right.
Uh, I'm gonna say that classic Reed, is just completely unaware of that entire interaction. He's just watching the news, and his brain is a million miles away, where he's thinking about how do we deal with these guys. And so he'll say something about, I'm going to go to my lab. Like, I'll eat in the lab. I
Typically,
need to come up with a way for containing the scrolls,
well,
that kind of
typically,
thing.
because you still need to eat. Hand it to him.
Uh, oh, yes, yes, I suppose so.
Mm.
He'll take it and wander off.
All right.
Um, okay, so having had lunch with everybody, what do you want to do next?
Well, I know that my evil counterpart has stolen a very expensive diamond. So I'm thinking, perhaps she has a taste for finer things in life. And it's not just about ruining my reputation, but maybe, building up a better life for herself. So I want to go invisible and head to the higher end area of Manhattan where like the really expensive and fashion stores are. Um, I don't know who the big name designers would be back then, but definitely the area where their items
Sure.
would be sold, as well as, back when um, some of the department stores that are no longer with us would be down there. They'd be catering to, women.
I
But
would assume.
I'm gonna go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say, you're familiar with Breakfast at Tiffany's?
Yes, that's kind of what I was thinking about.
Yeah, I was thinking that's kind of probably because it was just a different era, you know.
Mhm.
They would have jewelry stores with like a cafeteria or something weird in them
Yes.
where people would go to eat. And like I would, if you asked me if I wanted to go eat in a cafeteria somewhere, that doesn't sound appealing at all. But apparently in 1961, that was fashionable, you know.
Hmm.
At any rate,
Well,
yeah. So
yeah.
we get the idea. You go to whatever part of New York is kind of the high dollar area. You're hanging out invisible. I'm gonna rip this off from the comics. You have kind of a hard time doing that, where New York is so shoulder to shoulder with people, even back then, that sometimes it is just impossible to not bump into a person. And then
Um,
they'll turn and look and be a little confused and kind of keep going on their way, stuff like that.
I do have a flight.
Okay. So you
I
want
can
to
fly 2 acres at a time.
areas. That's from
Sorry,
that's
yeah.
from Marvel superhero system. Um yeah. That's fine. You can fly a little bit. Um and eventually you will see another Sue Storm. And since she wants to ruin your reputation, she's not doing like the Ben Grimm thing with like the trench coat and
Yeah.
sunglasses and a hat. She's doing the opposite.
Okay.
If anything, she's probably showing a little more skin than you would,
Oh no.
because that's sort of a look at me kind of a, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
going to turn heads more. But she will walk into another jewelry store.
Okay. I want to land, become visible, and follow her.
Okay. So
Um,
you walk into this jewelry store visible, and the person who's talking to her is going to, like, his jaw will kind of drop and he'll look at you, walk in the door, and then she'll turn around and look at you. Roll initiative.
okay.
The base initiative of the scroll is 12. So we roll
Mm,
1d10 and I get a 9.
let's
So
see.
12 plus 9 is 21. I go on 21.
I go on less than that. I go on 19.
Okay. All right. So Skrull Sue is going to, her whole trick where she's trying to fake your invisibility is the Skrull's ability to shapeshift and stuff like that. They're saying she has shrinking. So
Gotcha.
she's going to shrink down like Ant-Man. And I took another look at the comic to see about how big she is, and to me, she looks about the same size as a mouse.
Gotcha.
So I'm going with shrinking of 8, and um that actually gets added then to her dexterity in terms of how hard she is to hit.
Okay.
So her dex is more or less kind of an 11 now.
Gotcha.
Um, but so doing the shrinking is an automatic action. She's going to move in your direction, but this is the other downside of shrinking is think about like how long does it normally take a person to walk in from their backyard? Not very long at all, right? But
Yeah.
then look at Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And that
Yeah.
is like a 24-hour, 48-hour, whatever adventure, right? Um, so likewise, when I say she's moving towards you, that's gonna take a while. So like
That's
that's
cute.
her turn.
Um,
That
uh,
oh, before I forget, the 8 also is going to work against your intelligence in terms of you have to kind of roll to see her, and that doesn't count against your turn. That's not like an automatic action or anything like that.
okay.
But you do need to roll to kind of keep an eye on her.
Okay.
Um, and if you fail a roll, then your attack can't hit her because you don't know where she is, you know.
Gotcha. So do you want me to roll to see her first?
Sure, go ahead and do that. What is your IQ?
My IQ is a 6.
So you need a 13 or better.
I got a 13.
All right. So yeah, you still have your eyes on her then.
Awesome. I see on Sue's character sheet that she has neutralized.
Sort of.
How
Um,
does it work in this system?
well, the way it works is because again, we're converting from TSR's Marvel superheroes over to DC
Hmm.
heroes. The idea in the Marvel game is basically you're putting someone in a bottle.
Yes.
So if they have some kind of a physical attack, like say a energy blast or something like that, they have to get through the quote unquote bottle, which is your invisible force field you've put around them
Okay.
before that thing can hurt others. And the way that system handles it, I won't say monstrous and amazing and stuff because that that system's all about like adjectives.
Hmm.
But when you convert it over, the magic number is 12.
Okay.
If a physical quality the character has is a 12 or less, you just kind of automatically say, yeah, that doesn't work. You're bottled up.
Okay. I have kind of this picture in my head of they used to have these glass kind of half globes with like a little handle on top that you'd put over top of a cake. And that's
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
kind
Yes.
yeah, that's kind of the image in my head that I'm picturing when she uses this to try and trap the mouse.
Okay.
Well,
Um,
mouse-sized Sue.
that's cool. Uh,
So,
so what is your, I guess it would be force field.
my force field is a 12, as is my neutralize.
Okay. So that is the magic number. An awful lot of stuff in Marvel happens to fall into the 11 to 12 AP range of
All
the
right.
DC hero system. Okay, so you need to give me an 11 or better
All right. Here
to
goes.
contain her.
Ooh, double five. Okay. So
Sorry, you
that's
broke up.
10.
What was that?
Double fives
Oh, five. Okay, go ahead.
and an 8. So I got an 18.
That succeeds. Since you're not actually hurting her, you're just containing her. She is bottled
Uh,
up.
yes.
And then going back to that thing of anything less than a 12 doesn't work,
Hmm.
she has I'll flip it around and refer to it as growth, right? From her mouse size, she would have 8 APs of growth to go back to normal size. Since that's less than a 12, it means she can't expand to the point where she breaks out of your thing you've done. So
Awesome.
she can enlarge, but it's kind of like the thing mimes do, where the
Yeah.
mime is like in an invisible box and you're feeling around. That's what it would look like, is it would be this little, how big would she be? Maybe like the size of a Barbie doll or something at that point. You know
But
what I
people will be
mean?
able to see her now.
Right. But she's like feeling around like, she'd probably try to expand more, try to get to um I don't know, but you get the idea, right? Try to be,
Yeah.
she's trying to work up to being like 2 feet tall or something, and it's not working.
She's probably on her knees trying to push up.
Right, right.
Um, I will have one hand kind of stretched out over top of her, um, generating this little force field dome, and the other one on my hip, and be like, "Don't you know it's rude to wear another lady's face?"
She'll I guess just cuss you out and scrawl.
Oh,
So it'll just sound completely alien.
well,
Ack, 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 ack. You know.
I will look up at the shop owner that I've been talking to her, and I'll say, "She didn't cause any trouble, did she, sir?"
Um, I don't know what that guy would say. He would be really weirded out that there's two of you. He'll I guess he'll be the old trope of, he's kind of an overweight guy. He's about 50,
Oh
and
no.
he gives out kind of like a harumph and is like, "What is the meaning of this?"
I'm so sorry, sir. There were a couple of aliens running loose, but we're working on getting the situation under control again. I'll just go ahead and get her out of here so that you guys can go about your day. Have a wonderful afternoon.
He'll
And I'm gonna bubble her, like
uh,
finish
right,
enclosing her, and get her up to where I'm kind of holding the bubble
sure,
and walk outside.
okay. Well, you can fly back. I assume you're going to fly back to your expansive headquarters,
Yes.
right? Okay, so you go back, and we'll say Reed, by the time you get there, he has whipped up. In my mind, we just give Reed Omni gadgets, right?
Oh yeah.
So he just subs an Omni gadget for I think I'm actually going to go with time stop. Um
Oh,
I'm ripping off a gadget that's in the GURPS. I forget what it is, GURPS Space or GURPS Ultra Tech or
clever.
something. But it's kind of like it would be like a big disc, like a big silver disc on the floor. And you
Okay.
set a person on it. When you turn it on, they're just frozen in time. They're
Okay.
just paused.
Yep.
And that way, it's not like inhumane or whatever, where it's like, well, whatever, you're going to keep them in a cage for the rest of their life, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I've heard a lot of complaints about the Phantom Zone, for instance, because the people in the
Oh
Phantom
yeah.
Zone are aware, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
This kind of sidesteps any potential issues there. And it's also way better. Do you know how they beat these guys in the comics?
No, how did they do
This
it?
is this is horrific. They turned him into cows. He like I can't remember if he built a gadget or what, but somehow Reed forces them to turn into cows and believe they are cows, right?
Um,
And they let the four of them graze in a pasture. And Reed just kind of dusts off his hands
oh
and says, "There
no.
you go. They will live the life of the most peaceful animal on earth," or something
Oh
like that.
no. No, no,
And
no.
and they just leave. And in Marvel continuity, this is going to sound like a joke. I'm not joking. In Marvel continuity, they get slaughtered and eaten by humans, right?
That's
Who
exactly
then
what I was picturing. Was like
who
the slaughter truck showing up as Reed was leaving.
and the humans get
Oh,
Skrull powers
ew.
from eating that meat. And then
Soylent Green.
there's a group that I guess is like addicted to Skrull meat then. It's like some underground group. So when they run out of cow stuff, they're like looking for other Skrulls to eat. And then what was that one event? I want to say it was called Secret Invasion, but it was like in the early 2000s. Some of the
Yeah.
Skrulls that got captured in that, they didn't look like cows or anything. People were eating them. Yeah, I
Oh
hate
my
that.
goodness.
I don't like that at all. That's why I'm not a big fan of modern comics and why I tend to like
Ew. It
older stuff. You know what I
just
mean?
just ew. That's like Soylent Green on a whole new level.
Yeah. So we're not
Ugh.
doing that.
No, no,
Our
no, no, no.
our epilogue is going to be Reed just comes up with sort of a time pause kind of a gadget,
Okay.
and he's just doing that. So he's got him in the lab, and as long as there's electricity, and that blackout is over, by the way. So as
Good,
long as
good.
there's electricity for right now, everything's fine and under control.
All right. I like this a lot better than what you described.
Yeah, me too. I was not a fan of that. I liked this too. Hopefully the listeners liked this one. If so, as always, we would really appreciate it if you took a second of your time to smash that like button. Check to see if you're still subscribed because we did lose some subscribers recently, and then I
Yeah.
noticed they resubscribed. But check in case you're one of them. YouTube will unsubscribe people and not tell you.
Yeah.
My friends who also are a lot of them are YouTubers. They tell me the same thing. This is standard practice. Um, let's see what else. Ring the bell so that you know when we upload more content.
And leave us a
And
comment.
yes, leave a comment. And I think that actually is the one thing that helps more than anything else with the YouTube algorithm. That if the AI or whatever it is, I don't know, man. I'm not computer literate. I'm an old man, but the thing sees that is happening, and then it's going to show more people our channel. And on my end, that's all I've ever wanted is I love this game. I love our stories, and I just want to share them. I don't care about monetization or anything else. I just want to share what I love. So if you guys are
Yeah.
willing to do that, that would be great. On our end, um, we hope that you guys have a fantastic week, and we will see you in the next adventure. Bye.